My name is Jacob Shamoun, and for the YIS Global Stock Pitch Competition, I will be pitching Micron with a buy and hold position. Micron is a technology company in the semiconductor industry, and I have set a 2023 target price at $98.20 and a final target price at $115.05. That's 26.08% return and 47.70% return, respectively. And so in the center of your screen to start off, you'll see a 3-year graph of Micron in comparison to the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ. So of course, although Micron has outperformed the other two indexes, it's important to consider the other factors. First of all, I'd like to highlight on the left, Micron's industry or individual statistics. The current PDE ratio, the trailing PDE ratio, 9.96, is significantly lower than the industry average and indicates that Micron is likely undervalued. And we'll get to this more later, but this is one of the reasons why Micron is a great investment, because it's so low cost in an ever expanding semiconductor industry. And so just a brief overview of how Micron's products work, a product demonstration.
Memory chip design is the first step in the production of Micron's memory chips. This process involves the use of computer-aided design tools to lay out billions of electronic components that store data on the chip according to the product design specification. During technology development, specific process steps are defined and integrated into a process flow that will build the memory chips. The process steps are tested and refined until the process node is qualified and ramped in manufacturing. Individual memory chips, or die, are built upon pure silicon wafers in a fabrication area, or fab. Fabs are state-of-the-art clean rooms that are 100 times cleaner than a hospital operating room to ensure silicon wafers are protected from ambient contamination. Among the many process areas in a fab, the photolithography area coats wafers with a photoresistant material. Then, like film in a camera, circuit patterns are exposed and excess material is rinsed away. The paths in these circuits are 5,000 times narrower than a human hair. Wafers are moved between different tools and processes using a robotic automated material handling system, or AMHS. Each wafer may be moved through more than 1,000 processes.
So that's just to give you a brief overview of how Micron produces its products, which are mainly storage and memory chips. And it does so at fabrication plants, or fabs, as the video stated. And this slide is just to show you that Micron is headquartered in Boise, Idaho. It's the 4th largest semiconductor company in the world, but it is definitely internationally integrated. And on the left-hand side of this screen, you can see the current leadership and management team. But just to reiterate, Micron is producing semiconductors for memory and storage, specifically DRAM and NAND flash memory. And this is very important because currently such technologies are being used even more in automobiles, electronics, consumer communications devices, and data stores, which shows that Micron will be willing to expand, as well as its DRAM and NAND flash memories industries will also be willing and able to expand in the future. And here you can see, first of all, Micron's fabrication development plants. So this is an example from the one in Singapore. On the left-hand side of your screen, you'll see that Micron has consistently invested into research and development with its $150 billion investment strategy. And on this slide, once more, you'll see that the DRAM and NAND memory technologies industries have been ever expanding. And on the bottom left, you'll see the memory market size, the past, as well as the projection, showing that DRAM and flash ROM are extremely important and play a very dominant role in the market for semiconductor memory. And on the top right of your screen, you'll see the market share for the DRAM industry. And specifically note that Micron's market share has significantly increased, especially after its purchase or its acquisition of Elpida in 2013. And to draw your attention to the CAGR, so the CAGR is projected to be above 6.5%, which is pretty good. And uh, although the semiconductor industry is positioned to expand extremely well in the future, it's important to note that although Micron does have strong financials, some of its competitors are uh, less inclined in the aspect. So, for example, Nvidia has an enormous PDE ratio of 71.92, and this just goes to show that Micron is significantly undervalued with an extremely low PDE ratio. And on the right, on the other hand, you'll see uh, how much innovation Micron has committed to. So, for example, you'll see the 2022 One Alpha plan, which you'll see on the next slide, but uh, it just shows that Micron has committed to low density, low power, and high performance innovations. And this contributes to Micron's being renowned as the world's most advanced DRAM process technology. And Micron just continues to innovate, especially with its reinvestment plan. And that's just why Micron is such a great investment to get in on. And here you can see that on the right, Micron has significantly outperformed investor expectations in the past, beating EPS and earnings projections. And additionally, on the left, you can see that the key support and target price for Micron. But also important to note is the stop loss that I have indicated, and we will go over that more. But primarily due to the the small macroeconomic risk, which is definitely outweighed by the heavy benefits of Micron. And here you can see the why Micron. So first of all, the R&D, the $150 billion investment plan, its competitive positioning, and also the fact that it's ever expanding with its fab development, et cetera, and also its low cost with a 9.96 PDE ratio. And here you'll see that Micron has had a 29%, a 19% increase in DRAM and NAND flash memory revenue, respectively, a 57% quarter over quarter growth in EBITDA, 118.4% year over year non-GAAP net income increases, a 47.8% gross margin, and a $14.4 billion total liquidity, which all say that Micron is very profitable and very scalable. And here you'll see the future projections for its growth. And once more, Micron's low cost, constant R&D, and projected continued growth all point towards a low risk investment with high reward. And yeah, the expanding nature of the DRAM and NAND industries will definitely favor Micron, and its low forward and trailing PDE ratio indicate it's undervalued. Now, to the investment risks, so the reduced technological advancement or the competition risk, although that may be somewhat significant, Micron has significantly invested into research and development to mitigate that risk. Competitor entry is a very minimal risk as well because of the high barriers to entry, to enter the semiconductor market, and finally the supply chain risk, which is definitely the most severe. The risk of a macroeconomic recession also loom as the Russia-Ukraine war has expanded. However, such risks are definitely outweighed by the positives of Micron. And here you can see the DCF EBITDA calculation showing that Micron is definitely going to expand in the future with the projection, and using an industry average PDE ratio, a conservative 17, Micron's intrinsic value can be calculated to be way over the current value. And finally, to note ESG considerations. So with respect to emissions, water, and waste, Micron has significantly reduced its emissions and has improved water conservation and decreased waste, while also striving to invest in renewable energy for 100% of its products. Micron has also given back to its community with $23.9 million plus in donations and has strived for diversity and equality for all. And finally, Micron is a great investment because of its competitive positioning, low cost, and increasing market share in DRAM and NAND technologies, economies of scale, and low risk, etc. So thank you for watching, and please invest long in Micron.